the issues that keep us awake at night. But that's not all. The Morning Crossfire is your platform too. Your thoughts, your opinions, they all have a place right here. From politics to business and the economy, from the social issues to the heart of the city. I'll be your companion, your source of information, and your partner in exploration. And it's just not about the headlines. It's about the conversations we have, the connections we make, and the impact we create. Your insights matter, your questions matter, your energy matters. So whether you're in traffic, having breakfast, or starting your workday, I'll be right here, keeping you informed and engaged. So Lagos, stay tuned, set your alarms, and mark your calendars, and let's kickstart our mornings together, right here on the Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info. And Kofi Bartels, let's talk.
This is Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
All right, welcome back. We're still talking about corruption. Someone said if you don't kill corruption, if Nigerians don't kill corruption, or if Nigeria doesn't kill corruption, corruption will kill Nigeria. Someone said if Nigerians don't kill corruption, corruption will kill Nigerians. Or should we say corruption? Anyway, we'll look at the latest and the unfolding drama as far as the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs is concerned. But last night I had the opportunity to pen some thoughts down. I woke up at around 2 a.m. and I had to go to my WhatsApp status. And I'm sure some people will be asking, why is this guy still awake? We want to look at corruption as far as governance in Nigeria is concerned. And while we're waiting for Omoyele Sowore, the activist, journalist, activist, politician to join us in the studio, we throw the lines open. 0700993993 is the number to call. Why are we unable to tackle corruption in Nigeria, especially in government? Yesterday, I guessed a former chairman of the defunct presidential panel, what's the panel called again? Special Presidential Panel. I'm just going to leave it at that. I can't remember. But he was saddled with the responsibility of recovering government property. That's Chief Obonobla. He was the first person who said, and I think some listeners also said it here on the program yesterday, that the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Dr. Betedu, she's a medical doctor, should have been suspended by the president, and the president shouldn't have put out a statement saying, "Oh, we're investigating that." The procedure is that the government official in question who has any question over their conduct will be suspended while the investigation is going on, so that he or she will not have an opportunity to influence the investigation, or to change anything, or to go and remove a document that could implicate or can implicate him or her, as what he said yesterday. And I know one or two callers told that line, only for us to wake up the next day and hear that Betedu had been suspended. Listen.
People are calling for suspension. Yes, that is the normal procedure. I have suffered it. I've suffered suspension. That is a normal procedure. If any allegation is made against a public officer or a civil servant or a police officer, whoever, that person will be placed on suspension pending investigation, so that they want to avoid a situation where the person has access to documents. The person can doctor documents, can doctor memos. Nobody wants to be, portrayed in bad light, or nobody wants to be in trouble. You too, I don't want to be in trouble. So if I commit any, if an allegation is made against me, and you place me in a situation for me to, doctor the memos or documents, or talk to people within the system to help me, then we have compromised the investigation already. So the most appropriate thing is to suspend the officer pending investigation. At the end of the investigation, if the person is exonerated, the person return back to his work.
People shouting suspend, I don't agree with them, because they just want to delay the government and slow down the government. The money has not been moved according to the Accountant General. So why would you suspend that? Everybody can made mistakes, and she has been corrected.
All right, that's on our Twitter account. You can go to X and look for Nigerian Info, and that's an excerpt from our conversation yesterday. Your thoughts are welcome because we have developments regarding this particular situation. Corruption in governance, corruption in Nigeria. It's a big issue. I mean, I've had conversations with some of my friends who say, you know what, it's not about corruption. There are other things to look at. But I think, and I want my guest who's going to join us in a few minutes from now to tell us if everything bad or everything that needs to work that isn't working in Nigeria can be traced to corruption. All right. And how can we tackle the menace of corruption in this country? Now, I guess from yesterday, the lawyer and politician Okoye Obonobla sent me a message. But before that, he was talking about the code of conduct provisions. You know, for those of you who, like me, have read the Nigerian Constitution from beginning to end, I've read it maybe 2 times, you know, and it's enjoyable to read. And I think everyone should read the Nigerian Constitution. You have what you call code of conduct for public officers. Is there? You know, when I had one of the IGPs bringing up a code of conduct for policemen, I said, you know, you have a code of conduct for public officers already. I don't know, maybe we should go through it. I don't know if I can pick up. You have a code of conduct. Just take some time. It's in the shadows. That's the back pages of the Constitution. I guess from yesterday talked about the fact that, you know, sometimes some ministers have to listen to permanent secretaries because they will give them some good advice on how things are done. And that probably, is it that the government didn't give them some good training on, as this new crop of ministers now, on how to go about things using the permanent secretaries. He says that I expect that ministers and other top government functionaries should be exposed to knowledge concerning the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I agree. 1999 as amended. He talked about the Code of Conduct provisions of the Constitution, and then he talked about the federal government's financial regulations. That's something I was not too aware of until yesterday. I know we had the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria, and sometime I know Jonathan when they try to tax churches or something like that, and you know had to form boards and stuff. But it's real. The federal government financial regulations is there, and I easily downloaded a copy yesterday. Go look at it. It's quite clear. You have the Finance Act 2022, the Money Laundering Act 2022, and other relevant extant regulations and laws, what I guess talked about yesterday. He sent me a message saying permanent secretaries are the professionals that are familiar and conversant with the public service rules, the federal government financial regulations, etc. As he said, permanent secretaries are the chief accounting officers of their various ministries. Okay, but you know, the guy who helped Halima Shehu moved 44 billion naira between 27th of December and 31st December was a director, finance director in the ministry. In fact, he recently retired and he was reappointed by the same woman as her consultant on financial issues. Who knows that point? So you look at Section 106 of the Federal Government Financial Regulations. You look at also Section 713 of the Federal Government Financial Regulations that provides that personal money shall in no circumstance be paid into a government account, nor shall any public money be paid into a private bank account. This is an officer who pays public money into a private account is deemed to have done so with fraudulent intention. You know, when I read the Nigerian Constitution, I that's why I said this morning when I started at 5 a.m., you know, the problems that this country has, Nigeria has, are not about laws or lack of laws. And I was referring to Beta Edu's matter, Farouk Usman, Usman's matter, or Usman Farouk's matter, Salima, that's Salima, and Halima Shehu's matter as well. That is it about more women representation? We have more women, we're going to have a better country. Is it about youth representation? We have more youth, we're going to have a better country. Is it about let's change the Nigerian Constitution? Let's have a new constitution. We'll have a better country. Oh, let's restructure Nigeria. Things will get better. All those things have been bastardized and destroyed in the past 24, 48, 72 hours by all that has happened. Okay? I'm standing on my mandate that I've stood for years. If we don't have a gender problem, it's not about gender. The gender issues in Nigeria cannot and will not be solved, okay, by having more women in government. it will never solve anything. We have gender problem, yes, but the gender problems do not exist because you don't have more women in government. And that is a lie from the pit of hell. And I'm here to dispel those lies. It's a lie. The issues about gender-based violence, about gender-based, child marriage are not going to be solved by having more women in government. Okay, let's leave women. Let's go to youth. Well, someone accused me of being, what do they call it again? Patriarchal, whatever. I'm not in that group. Let's look at youth. Okay, youth representation, youth empowerment. The issues of youth empowerment and representation in this country will never be solved. I've not had time to talk like this today since I came on this show, so please, you better get used to it. Will never be solved. And I guess it's coming, all right? It's on its way. Will never be solved by having more young people in government. Personally, I've said it. People who's been following me for years. Not too young to run. For instance, that campaign was misplaced. So now I'm not just talking about women. Misplaced. Waste of time. I'm sorry. Young Africa, my friends. Misplaced. Because it's not about having young people. If you have corrupt young people there, nothing will change. If you have corrupt women there, nothing will change. If you have corrupt, okay, let's put pastors. We must put. If you have corrupt pastors there, nothing will change. Okay, let's have a new constitution. Who are the people who will implement constitution? They'll be human beings. I say it, and I'm going to say it again, that if Nigeria has a good president, a fair president, a working president, a patriotic president, a president who doesn't steal, who has a fear of God, whatever that means, because we bastardize that word, fear of God. Who do you want to marry? I want to marry a woman with the fear of God. I used to, but we misuse it anyway, so that's why I don't like that term. That Nigerians will forget that they even have that the 99 Constitution is the worst constitution in the world, since you say it is. Nigerians will forget that the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended is bad. The problem of this country is not the Constitution. Okay, let's look at restructuring. Let's restructure Nigeria. You restructure a country has issues like this, fantastic problems like this. You are merely taking the problems and restructuring them into restructured needs. So we have a restructured problem. If it's corruption, we have restructured corruption. If it's insecurity, we have restructured insecurity. Okay? If it's electoral malpractice, we take electoral malpractice and restructure it. Okay, let me ask you. We want restructuring. What are the worst set of elections we have in this country? Tell me. The worst set of elections we have in Nigeria are local government elections. Never democratic. The only one I can remember, and please, you can add to my list, was in Kaduna State, where Nasir El-Rufai said we're going to have electronic voting. I think, yeah. And said everybody go and vote. And APC ended up losing most of the local government. So PDP won more, Apart from that, I don't know anyone. You tell me, which party, which state in this country, which governor is organizing? So okay, does he need restructuring? That's my guess, yeah. Does he need restructuring? The governor, does he need restructuring? Local government elections, in fact, it's so bad that the opposition parties in the states don't even waste their time. I was talking to one politician, I think, was it a presidential candidate, a governorship candidate, who said he's not going to court. Okay, I think it was Dino. Dino said he's not going to waste his time to go to court against Yahya Bello. The opposition parties in the states don't even waste their time to contest local government elections because they know that they don't have a chance. They can't win because they're not going to have a level playing field. Now, you all have left that. All of you who are so interested in the good of Nigeria. I don't know anyone in Lagos State. I don't know anyone in Rivers State who has taken up, all right, taking up the local government elections and said, no, we have to do something. I don't know anyone. I don't know. But you're all focusing on INEC. All of you are focusing on INEC. It's just like, so what other restructuring do you want? You can't even organize local government elections that are free and fair. That's the worst. It's worse than presidential election. All of you shouting allies on judiciary have not finished facing your state governors. In your states, you can't even have free and fair elections. In your states, you are there shouting all eyes on judiciary. You are there shouting all eyes on judiciary. We can't even have, and that is the foundation of democracy. That is the level that is closest to the people, the governance that is closest to the people. You and I, our local governments. In some states, the local government chairman can breathe. In some other states, the local government chairman have turned the local government account, 1 billion naira every month or whatever they get, to their personal property. They don't do anything. You've not even faced them. You've not even faced them. You want to face Supreme Court. We have our priorities mixed. We've lost it. We have a situation on our hands today, and I've never met Better Edu before. I've been to Edu 1 or 2 times. But this is me, because I'm not a bandwagon person. I'm not someone who is easily moved by every wind of doctrine. Nigerians have forgotten that the foreign minister, what's his name again? Umar Farouk has a 37.1 billion naira, what do you call it? Money laundering charge that she's helping the EFCC to understand or to tell them what she knows about that. Former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. She's helping EFCC. Now, guess who made noise and brought that to the attention of EFCC? Who? Better Edu. All right. Apart from that, we have the head of the Nigerian Social Investment Program Agency, Halima Shehu. She's been suspended by President Tinubu. She's helping EFCC. She's telling them what she knows about 44 billion naira that was moved from government account, NSIPA, to private account between 27 December and 31st December. Who reported that to the EFCC? Better Edu. Last year, it was reported that more than 10 billion naira of federal government money that was given to contractors or to consultants, whatever they're called, to be distributed to Nigerians via the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs under, I think, NPower, one other program, or NSIP or whatever, that about 10 billion naira plus was lying in accounts and had not been shared. And those monies were going to end up in private hands. That's the contractors are taking those monies, according to the reports. And the government recovered at least 10 billion naira. Who raised the alarm that made the federal government go out to look for that money? Better Edu. But because Nigerians are so interested in entertainment, everything is, even NSAS at the point was entertainment for Nigerians. We've forgotten all those ones, and we're focusing. Yesterday, I saw people talking on social media. She was not allowed to see President Tinubu. We've left the important things. Now, if Better Edu is guilty, let her do the time. But the Nigerians are so quick to move on and to take their eyes off the balls. It's so easy to deceive you guys. Those of you who want to be deceived. I'm sorry. I'm being hard. But it's so easy. There's something at play here. You see, there's something going on that people are losing sight of. And let Better Edu get every punishment she deserves. But I will be so sad. I will be so sad if Nigerians actually fall for whatever is at play and miss the main thing. These things are, they go far. And I think they go all the way to the top. And I think I think that if someone feels the better idea is allowed to continue the way she's going, that they'll be exposed. Now, for her, let her answer for whatever she needs to answer for, but let's not lose sight of what is at play. It's very important. It's very important. Are you forgetting about the one who has actually stolen the money? Yeah, let's pay our bills.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone.
All right. So are we so fixated on the person who wrote the paper? I said to have written the paper and signed it. Okay. And then we hear from the accountant general that she said, "Oh no, we can't send them on the private account." And then that was the end of the story, from what I hear. We've left that one. We actually fixated on that one, and we've left the ones that actually stole the money, moved it. Yes, I listened to the Minister of Interior try to explain, his role or his no role in some company that got a contract from Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, which he founded, but he said he is no longer a director. But I would have asked him some questions. Tunji Ojo, yeah, you're working, but that does not mean like Beta. Now, Beta is working in one way or another, but it doesn't mean that she can't be investigated. We'll talk about that when we come back from our break. Don't be small thing, where's my guest now? Anyway, so corruption is a big problem. It's I think it's connected to every thing that isn't working in this country. People have turned government into their personal. In fact, the ambition of people who get into government now is just to get there, get their hands on public funds, and chop. That's all. That's all. Get there. By all means possible, get their hands on public funds and chop. Let's pay our bills.
Let me explain why I switched my company's healthcare partner to Reliance HMO. Our old partner didn't process payments in time, so we had delayed access to care. It meant that I had to add sorting out team members' medical issues to my many HR responsibilities. Can you imagine? Reliance HMO solved these issues but didn't stop there. Their app allows us to connect to a doctor 24/7 via an internet connection. It even gets better. After consultation, the prescribed drugs are delivered free of charge. Yes, managing the healthcare of my large staff team is easier than ever. I registered everyone in the shortest possible time. Why wouldn't I choose them? Make a smart choice like me. Choose Reliance HMO today.
For more information, call 0700 735 42623. Reliance HMO, the next generation HMO for business.
He done of trading himself. James, hello.
Susan, I beg. Say you dey whine me.
For where? You who no longer depend solely on your salary.
So you people trade and don't carry us along in this office, Abby?
Jerry, now you dey talk like this. Who doesn't want an extra stream of income? But I'm still looking for better trading conditions, I beg. Fast execution of my trades and possibly an account where swap no go carry all my profits where I no know.
Guy, HFM.com.
For me, I wouldn't mind better spreads at all, and it won't be a bad idea to be able to make withdrawals in a flash.
All we want is transparency and great customer service.
Guys, I said HFM.com.
Which one is HFM.com again?
Switch to HFM today to enjoy ultra-fast execution, 1 to 2,000 leverage, tight spreads, swap-free, and more.
Guy, show us the way now.
Wait, are you sure deposits and withdrawals are sharp?
I said HFM.com. Visit www.hfm.com. HFM, online trading at its finest.
Join the Infinix Nation and unlock the holiday excitement with Hot 40. Watch full game in just 5 minutes. And Helio G99 Gaming, the 50MP AI cam captures moments in stunning clarity under the holiday sun. The smartphone that comes loaded with Google apps, like Google search for instant updates on jobs, news, and sports right on the go.
Get ready for the holiday vibe with the Infinix Hot 40. Stand a chance to win amazing gifts like smart TVs, refrigerators, washing machines, and more await you every buy. Also get a chance to hang out in the picturesque with the football star, Alex Iwobi, in Ivory Coast. Experience fast and fun. Terms and conditions apply.
Have you seen the new Mirinda 60cl bigger bottle? Is plenty.
It's got a new look, refreshing taste, and the size. You can legit start drinking at 1 p.m., 3 p.m., 8 p.m. Okay, I exaggerated, but you get the drift.
Get more refreshment and more enjoyment from Mirinda's 60cl bigger bottle, also available in pineapple flavor. Mirinda's 60cl bigger bottle. More refreshment and more enjoyment is plenty.
To cook correct food, they always give me joy. That's why anytime when they cook like this, they always season them with no cubes. Come add correct vegetables inside. Ugu, tatasheo, shombo, onions. No one will know they put. Now you make my pikin them, they always enjoy my cooking.
Daddy, I never will I want more.
You see?
Sama all your food with correct vegetables. Come season them with no cubes for that to get delicious taste. Today, chop better.
You dey try, you dey work hard for your money to grow large. There's a trusted means we know they fellow. We deliver, you can tell. We make your pocket deep like well. So get your loans with no issues. Do investments, no issues. Financial advisory, no issues. So you should go and make your money move.
Enjoy life with less worries when you get loans, investments, and financial advisory services from Future Finance. Simply visit www.futurefinance.com. That is www.fewchorefinance.com. Future Finance. We cater for everybody.
You are listening to your number one station for talk.
Your number one station for talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
All right, welcome back. Still the Morning Crossfire right here on 99.3 Nigeria Info. My name is Kofi Bartels. I'm glad to say we have a guest with us here in the studio, Omoyele Sowore, as an activist, journalist, politician, and he's with us in the studio, businessman as well, right? Yeah. Okay.
I don't know about that part, but I'm always busy.
You're always busy. All right. Okay. It's good to have you, Sowore. Thank you so very kindly for your time. I know you've been busy with one or two personal activities. Corruption is a big issue in this country. Someone described Nigeria's corruption issue as being a fantastic one. Despite enacting various laws and institutions that have been set up to combat the issue of corruption in the country, Nigeria continues to grapple with corruption, and for many years, corruption has been ravaging the nooks and crannies of every sector, ranging from mismanagement of public funds to embezzlement and siphoning the treasury. Why do you think this is the case, that we have so many institutions? Someone was telling me this morning, a lawyer, that even the Code of Conduct Bureau, he can't remember when in its 32 or so years of existence they've actually caught anyone. So why do we have this endemic corruption despite all the institutions and the laws?
Because the people who are enacting the laws, who are creating the institutions, are themselves corrupt. So there is no way anyone who is corrupt will set up a trap for himself or herself in Nigeria. So when they are setting up these institutions, they already put in loopholes in there. They put their own people there to ensure that nothing will affect the business of corruption. So over time, these institutions themselves become very corrupt. And it just continues the business of corruption. I think you're seeing what is going on. And that's what we'll be saying, that there is enough money to take care of Nigerian people if we curb corruption. And curbing corruption has to take different strategies. And one of it is not, what we are doing is enforcement of anti-corruption laws. And we're not even doing enforcement. We are showing off. Every time we issue press releases, we disgrace those who are not in power or those who are out of power, or use it to settle personal differences. You're talking about the Code of Conduct Bureau. Actually, it did work at the time when they wanted to remove a former Supreme Court justice that wasn't in alliance with the Buhari regime. They suddenly woke up the Code of Conduct Bureau, when they wanted to also deal with Saraki.
A current president as well.
Yes. So whenever they are working, you got to be suspicious. Yeah, it's because it's done to settle differences. So now there is none of these issues that you can point to that's working. I have said it before. You can't just be showing off when it comes to corruption. You have to plug the loopholes first and foremost. You must go in direction of ensuring that people can't steal your money at the rate, level, and impunity with which they steal in Nigeria. That is the first solution. That's the primary solution.
Make sure people don't have the
you don't have access to it. You don't have access.
Well, Buhari tried to do that by creating a
Buhari
single
turned
account.
out to be one of the biggest thieves to have walked the surface of Nigeria.
What's the evidence?
Well, the evidence is the central bank governor who was working for him. The evidence are all his people now that are getting invited to come and explain how billions went missing.
But the central bank governor has not been convicted of stealing any money. In fact, the court has placed a 100 million naira fine on EFCC.
Nobody is ever going to convict a big thief. This country is for conviction of small people stealing cows, goats, and chickens, not for the big guys.
Are you saying the judiciary is enabling corruption?
The judiciary itself is one of the most corrupt in this country. You are hearing that from me.
Evidence
all over the place.
For example,
this idea of releasing the central bank governor we're talking about is corruption in the judiciary. If you go deeper into it, you know that there's a lot of water that's gone under the bridge. I go in and out of courtrooms on a daily basis. I see it's very evident. It's not nobody is hiding it anymore. Judges give conflicting rulings based on how much money has been paid. In every situation, like we had in Kano, there was a judgment delivered in open court, and a different judgment was presented when they applied for.
But we had a human error.
It wasn't human error. It's corruption.
Clerical error.
It's corruption. It's not. You can't make such a clerical error where a judgment is different. The judgment presented to those who are litigants is completely different from the one that was presented in open court.
Sure,
so most of these judges write 3 different judgments, and then they start haggling to see who is the highest bidder.
Yeah. Is this, because we're not here to bash government. And I know you're not here to bash government. You're just telling us what you feel.
It's not what I feel. I'm telling you what I know.
You know.
Yes.
But is it a government issue? Some people say government is, and I remember the famous line from Patito's gang, government get the people get the government they deserve.
Well,
is
in
it
Nigeria,
simply a reflection of our values as society?
No. Nigeria, people don't get the government they deserve. No.
Really?
It is that those who are in government has created a society that is not inclusive of the people. So it's a cartel running the country.
Because it could be argued that even in society we see corruption. In the schools we see corruption. In the banks we see corruption. In church and mosque we see corruption.
The truth is this.
In media house we see corruption.
You can take it to the bank. Every country, by human nature, people want to take advantage of systems that have loopholes. In the U.S., one person, one street in the U.S. is more corrupt than the rest of the world. It's called Wall Street. But once in a while, you see the system go back there and clean up. There was a guy that stole over $50 billion from Wall Street.
But they got a bailout from Obama.
Well, what I'm saying is that by nature, human beings are corrupt, and even the so-called advanced countries, they have corruption.
So it's
in
not
fact,
just a
they are the
Nigerian
ones
thing.
who promote the corruption here. For you to steal a huge amount of money and take it out of Nigeria, you have to have international banking systems behind your back. You have to have the Swiss government, the Swiss banks are the ones who have helped. The greatest or biggest corruption out of Africa was perpetrated by the Swiss.
So what do they have that we don't have?
What they have is that they have people who keep saying, our system can't just accept this, and they fix their own country. You get my point? Mm-hmm. Sometimes they fix their country with money stolen from you. Most of the money we go back and borrow and take back as loans are money they stole from us, from Africa.
Yeah, but you've stayed. You lived in the United States of America for
20 years.
20 years.
Yes.
You're saying the society there is corrupt.
Oh yeah, the U.S. There's corruption in the U.S. But you, at least in their own case, if they say they are going to fix a road, they'll fix it first, and then there'll be arrangement between the contractors and the politicians to have some kind of donations made to them. So their own is not as brazen as an average senator in the U.S. who has got who has stolen 30,000 naira, they treat the person as if he stole the world.
Look at the Menendez.
Yeah, Menendez. He's a senator from my area. He even intervened when I was arrested.
Yeah.
So, but look at what they're doing to him.
They said he got a car.
Yes. But the senators in Nigeria will be laughing at the Menendez case.
Got a watch.
Yes, his watch, car. There was a governor of Illinois who was trying to sell Obama's ticket. And he was arrested and detained for he was in prison for almost 7 years for discussing on the phone how to sell Obama's slot when Obama became president.
My God. So ours is just a bit higher than what we see.
It's impunity. We hear people steal with impunity because there are no consequences.
But I mean, here, what we see is that even your kinsmen, if you become president tomorrow, your kinsmen are going to put congratulatory messages in the papers. They're going to call you and give you a chieftaincy title.
No, my kinsmen won't do that. They know me.
Maybe not you.
I don't have it. I don't have a chieftaincy title today. Okay, if I was interested, I probably would have 10.
That's because of who you are. That's because of who you are.
So that's also why leadership matters. Because your kinsmen, your family, they know what you accept and what you won't accept. So if I become president of Nigeria and any member of my family, there's no member of my family that will go put advertisement in newspaper, except they are not members of my family. Because they know the rule.
So are you saying we don't have at least looking at your comparison between corruption in the United States, where it's for 20 years, and Nigeria? Are you saying we don't have at least a values problem, a societal orientation that accepts corruption?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that this was also the same society that used to hang shells of snails on thieves. Yeah, our value system don't accept corruption. If you look deeply into our cultural system, it doesn't accept corruption. People get banished from stealing goats in the past. But over time, we have also created monsters in our society who have changed the entire value system and ensure that they don't matter. And what I'm saying generally is that value systems, even if they permit corruption, the system of government, of enforcement, of prevention, of execution, if it's there, the value system can't affect it. I keep saying this. The president of the United States of America cannot determine the car he will ride. He cannot go to the central bank governor and say, go and bring money to me.
But it's the people, the human beings who run the system.
It's because there are laws there that prevents that. If he calls the central bank governor and say, go and bring money, the guy who said, no, I can't do it. If you keep asking me, I'm going to expose you. And he will expose him because it matters. You know what is going on now in the U.S. The former president of the U.S., Donald Trump, is facing different kinds of trials here and there. He's going to be made to pay a fine of $370-something million in New York. He's facing defamation cases. He's facing insurrection cases. He's been forced out of the ballot in some states, I think Colorado. But in Nigeria, look at all the former presidents. They're all getting together. They are part of the
Old Boys Club and all that.
Old Boys Club. They're giving them money. They're getting contracts. The biggest contractors from outside the country needs to go to the former president, who then take them to the villa and introduce them. Nobody has been called to account.
But we have laws. So I was just telling him before you came in.
We have laws, but our laws are like cobwebs. They hold the ants, but they can't hold an elephant.
First time I read the code of conduct for public officers in the Constitution, I was surprised.
Yeah,
you have everything in there.
Everything is covered.
Everything is covered, but people do what is
no transparency about it. See, the Code of Conduct Bureau ought not to have a lockbox. If you declare your assets, as they do in a country like Liberia, during an election, you are supposed to declare your assets, and it's made public. Why is it that we can't find out the asset declaration form of all the officials in the country? Why is it in a lockbox? We still don't note it today, except if they voluntarily on their own decide that, I'm going to just make the world know this. Even Buhari, when he came, he was making all those shows about declaring his assets and cows. Till today, he never made it public himself. He went back after he finished office and said he has done another one. Why can't we make it public? It should not be. It should be on the website. everywhere. So that if you are lying, the public can say, look, you're lying. I know your house in so place. Why are you lying? So we don't have transparency. Anything that doesn't involve transparency, you are not going to get much results out of it, even if you are pretending to fight corruption. So one of the ways to fight corruption is also to be transparent about the fight against corruption. And in this country, if you want to get a company information from the CAC, you still have to go and pay or get a lawyer. It should be available online. If you want to charge for it, just ask me to pay, whatever it is on, using an online payment solution system.
They have a website, but you still pay online.
You still can't pay. You can't pay online. I tried to do it even as recently as a month ago.
I think after the man whom they celebrated his departure, the one they got a band. The workers, they got a band to celebrate.
But that's not the issue.
Since he left, that website has been
this
down.
thing should be available. So if, for instance, there's a contractor handling any matter, it should be public. If you go to the U.S. website, all their contractors are known.
What do you think about the Minister of Interior, whose a company linked to him has been fingered in all the beneficiaries of? But he says he's not a director in that company.
But the CAC lists him as a director.
He said he's not in charge of the CAC's website or their server.
Well, who is in charge? Am I the one in charge?
He resigned in 2019 before going to the...
Where's the evidence? The evidence ought to be on the CAC website. That's the way it is now.
But he brought a paper. It was on channels last night. And we saw it.
We still go back to the CAC.
Okay, but
you can go and backdate the paper and say resigned. But if it's not done on CAC, if a company is linked to you, see, this is what we call conflict of interest. Don't make sure that they don't have anything to do with your government. Even if the company is no longer run by you, just make sure that they stay off of government contracts.
That's they can't get government contracts at all.
No, because there will be conflict of interest.
But Tunji Ojo was saying that the most important thing is number one, he resigned. They want to give him that.
But there's further information as of yesterday, I think from a newspaper, People's Gazette, that the guy running it was his assistant up until when he became minister.
But he technically is not running the company.
Well, no, you can technically not run anything and technically be taking all the money. It's technical. All of it is technical. All these arguments are technical. What is clear is that their hands were caught in the cookie jar.
Should he be suspended or even sacked by President Tinubu? He's one of the. He's seen as the best performing.
Who told you he's best performing?
I said he's seen as the best performing minister.
So because he's making available your passport that you deserve to be mailed to your house. I don't know how we judge people here in this country. Are you supposed to beg somebody to get a passport? No. So if someone is getting passports done the way it should be done, it's not even the job of a minister. It's the job of the immigration.
Yeah, but they're under him.
Yeah, but the prison system is also under him, and prisoners are not being fed.
All right, talking about prisoners being fed, I think he was able to raise some money, for payment of the fines of some prisoners who were incarcerated. And I was asking then,
they don't need to.
Who is the government paying to that money to?
This is a showmanship. I hate about governance in this country, and that's why the conversation is never elevated. I personally free more people from illegal detention every year than the government could ever do, and nobody pays me to do it.
But do you have an idea who the government?
I don't know.
I'm
not in the government, and I don't care. But they should not hold people in prison for no reason. Somebody caught on the street just crossing the street will spend 6 months, some a year at Kirikiri. The Lagos state government, for instance, is a major violator of human rights, because you see all these poor people. We go to prison all the time. There are still people who have been held in prisons since NSAS. We're still trying to get 2 or 4, more of them out.
Okay.
And when you get to these prisons, you just find a lot of innocent people who are asked to pay 10,000 naira. There are tons of them in prison.
So you think that
just because they can't pay 10,000 naira to a mobile court?
All right. So you have no
a magistrate,
no sympathy for no sympathy for the man, and
it's not about sympathy. When people are, when people are appointed or elected to do their jobs, I don't go around praising them for doing what they are elected or appointed to do.
Okay.
And if you are then found, getting involved in certain infractions, you don't bring the argument that because he was a tall guy. We can't fire. He's the tallest person in the cabinet, or he's the finest person in the cabinet. No,
All right.
there got to be other people. If that was the case, then maybe nobody should have fired. Nobody should have forced Betty Edun.
Do you think Betty Edu is because I embarked a little rant before you came in. Do you think she's a victim in a way in all of this?
No, I don't see her.
Why I'm asking that is that,
but I know that they are throwing her under the bus because I'm sure she's not acting alone.
But why I'm saying that is that the current investigation of Sadia Umar Farouk, former minister, was because of what Betty Edu saw in the books when she went there. And then she
perfected it for herself.
She called the EFCC to look into it. And then also this 44 billion that was moved into a private account from the NSIPA account.
Yeah.
She also reported that to the EFCC as well. Then last year, she also discovered that some of the contractors or consultants were keeping money that was meant to have been given out to the beneficiaries of NPA, about 10 billion plus. She also had to say, government, let's recover that money. And then now this 585 billion naira hasn't left government for coffers. She's only accused of requesting.
Yeah.
Do you think that maybe some people who are affected by the report she's been making may be going after her?
No, I'm more interested in what she's doing herself. Like I said, her hand has been caught in a cookie jar. So while she was reporting the old thieves, she was perfecting her own way of stealing. That's the way I see it. And there's no excuse in the world that can be proffered to, exculpate her. She's involved in this. She was caught doing things that are illegal, and now we're finding out more. So maybe she was just using the reporting of the old thieves as a distraction so that people think she's clean. But now we found out that that's not the case, and I'm not interested in providing excuses for anybody who's involved in corruption. None.
Do we need to see a death penalty? The China-style death penalty for Nigerian corruption. But you're an anti-corruption. You seen as an anti-corruption crusader.
No, I don't.
Revolutionary.
I don't support death penalty because the Nigerian legal system can kill someone for an offense they didn't commit, and the people who really committed the offense will be the one doing the killing. So, and globally, it's been found out that people who have been sentenced to death in most cases did not commit offenses that they were sentenced to death for. There's so many of these cases out there to show that, and that's why you see that even people who are sentenced to death, nobody is willing to sign their death warrant now because they don't even know how they were convicted in the first place. So I've been detained before in the death section of Kuje prison.
Okay. Oh, in the death row.
Death row, yes. It was one night because I was involved in a protest, and
that's a revolution now.
Yes. So that itself is death.
Okay, what did you see there?
What I saw there, it's like killing you because even the guy who is in charge, who's your guard in the death row section, is also he needs somebody to come and open the door for him before he can get out.
My God.
Yeah. So it's like prison inside prison. It has like concrete bed and just a toilet. For you to get any kind of help, you have to scream your lungs out, and sometimes they don't answer you, and they don't have to because you are not really part of the world.
So if we don't have death sentence for corruption in Nigeria, you want to be president, what ideas do you have to end? Just in a minute, because we're out of time.
No, I've said prevention. So the moment people steal, it's difficult to get the money from them because they get the best lawyers. The lawyers know the judges, and at the end of the day, even Emefiele, don't be surprised if he's be contesting for presidency in the next election, because this is the kind of thieves that Nigerian politicians like. Even some of the voting people, political parties, they'll be begging him come to us because they've seen that he's got money, he's got banks to his name, he's got all these things. He's a perfect person for the paradise of thieves.
Do you feel with what is going on, the moves by President Tinubu, he's showing that he will not tolerate corruption from his ministers? You laugh.
You make me laugh. This is what they came for. They came to steal and rob this country blind. All these ones you are saying, it's just all show off, showboating. This is who they are. You know,
okay. So it's just Showboat.
Don't forget that it came from Lagos.
All right.
And this is Lagos.
Omoyele Sowore, we want to thank you so much for your time. And of course, we'll make it better next time. It's been a short 22 minutes, but thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we want to announce the winners of one play this morning. Stay with us.
More talk, news, and sports after this.
Connection is very important, especially when it's strong. And you don't realize this until you are cut off. Keep your connection strong at home.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens.